with leprosy. What do you mean, Pastor? Leprosy in biblical times was an infectious infirmity. The fear of leprosy then is like the paranoid and the fear of COVID-19 now. Leprosy was a fungal condition which causes patches of discoloration and disintegration of the skin of anyone infected with this deadly disease. Leprosy was accompanied by ringworms. The skin often breaks, causing sores and wounds. Ancient leprosy began as a small red spots on the skin. Before not too long, these spots got bigger and starts to turn white with sort of a shiny and scaly appearance. Are you still with me? Are you still with me today? Leprosy was contagious and dangerous, and so pretty soon these spots spread all over the body, over the entire body, and the hair begins to fall out, first from the head, and then the eyebrows begins to fall out. Like if that was not enough, things would worsen when the fingernails and the toenails become loosened. They would start to rot and eventually fall off. Then, like if that was not enough, leprosy took it a little bit further. Then the joints of the fingers and toes begin to rot and fall off by pieces. Gums begin to shrink. Come on, talk to me. I'm trying to paint a picture here. Gums begin to shrink and they can't hold the teeth anymore. So each of them would fall out eventually. Leprosy keeps eating away at your face until literally the nose and the palate and even the eyes rot and sink deep inside the facial bone. The victim would waste away until death eventually take them over. Are you with me? And so we understand that this was very dangerous. A leper was to be avoided at all cost. Their clothing, their housing, and also their properties and their possessions of the leper were so infected and contagious that they would often burn them. As a matter of fact, they would demolish the house that they live in. Talk to me, talk to me. Are you still with me? Unclean lepers were treated with disdain. People distant themselves from them, just like now if you have COVID, people distant themselves from you. They have to come in and sanitize the place. This was Naaman's condition. Have I lost you yet? Are you still with me? Let's go a little bit deeper. Can I borrow your imagination a little bit further? Stay with me. They were seen as outcasts, the lowest, the least, and they were seen as low-life scum of society. And like if that was not enough, lepers were mandated to wear torn clothes to keep their heads covered and their face covered. Come on, talk to me. And to make them more despised in the eyes of the public. Whenever they entered the city, they had to cry, unclean, unclean, unclean. They had to make the public and the people aware of their condition, not only by their attire but also by their announcement. The people could identify that they were a leper by their attire because their clothes were torn, but they had to announce unclean, unclean. Are you with me? But just because Naaman had a prestigious position, he bypassed all of that because of his skin. I'm going to preach up inside here. I wish I had some help from somebody. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, it doesn't matter your it doesn't matter your condition. God has a plan for your life. I wish I feel my preaching coming on. Come on, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. So that by his verbal outcry, the public knew that they were unclean. Come on, talk to me. Nobody could touch them. When they entered the streets and the city, they had to keep their social distance. Are you with me? Are you with me? They were outcast. They could not enter the doors of the church. Is somebody with me in this place today? My friends, this was the nature of Naaman's condition. That even though he was a mighty man in the eyes of his master, don't miss this critical point in the text, he was a leper. I wonder if Somebody's still with me. Naaman had a long life-threatening issue that if he did not take care of it early, he would die. He had a serious issue. In fact, I tell you what the name, did I tell you what the name Naaman means? Did I tell you? Well, let us look at it. We've been discussing this in Bible studies in ancient Israel and other ancient culture. The name of a child or a person indicated three things. Let's look at them very quickly. It indicated the personality of that person, and secondly, it indicated the purpose of the person. So it indicated the personality and the purpose. Names were significant because it was the identity of the child. So they did not just name their child because they liked the name Brother Peter, but they named the child. A mother would name her child because of the destiny that she foresaw in the child. I don't know if my mother knew when she was naming me, if she ever checked what my name meant, but I did a little research and I discovered that my name means gentle little warrior. Oh, you don't hear what I'm saying, and that's the kind of demeanor that I display. If you know me, you know that I'm a gentle little warrior. I won't give up without a fight. Come on, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you've got to have some resilience and some determination. What do you mean, Pastor? I'm heading somewhere. Stay with me just a little bit longer. We're going to get to shouting, but stay with me. And so it was the hope of his mother that this child would become something. So what does the name Naaman means? The name Naaman means, don't miss it, it means pleasant. Can we just take our time and tell a little bit deeper? Therefore, if his name meant pleasant, it means, it tells us something about him when he was born. His mother named him pleasant because he was a pleasant child. He was a good-looking child. I'm heading somewhere. His smile was as shine as the sun shining in the sky. His skin was so soft and smooth like silk and satin. Stay with me. Yes, man, growing up, Naaman was the girls' them sugar. He was their knight in shining armor. He was the son-in-law that a mother desired to have. Come on, talk to me. If anybody you wanted to be your son-in-law, it would have been Naaman. When they looked at Naaman, I didn't get this from a book. God don't loaded this in my spirit. When they looked at Naaman, Naaman was so pleasant and so fair to look on that every mother would want Naaman to marry their daughter. But somewhere along the line, this pretty skinned boy, this smooth skinned boy, skin so soft like a velvet, skin so soft like satin, skin so soft and smooth, somewhere along the line, give me something, Brother Peter, something happened to Naaman. Can I get an amen inside here? He woke up one day and he discovered that his skin was not as smooth as it used to be, Sister Alexis. Stay with me. He woke up one day and recognized that there were pimples all over his body. He went to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed him and said, well, let's just wash. It's probably just a little rash. Let's just watch and see if it will disappear. But then a week passed and then he realizes that the issue is getting worse. It's not getting better. And finally he goes back and he sees the skin specialist. He sees the doctor and the doctor says, well, Naaman, you got to stay over there. It looks like you have leprosy. Let's wait another 6 weeks and see what happens. He tried every kind of medicine there was available, but the pimples would not disappear. Am I talking to somebody in this room today? He tried everything he knew to try, but instead of him getting better, he grew worse. And I'm just wondering if I have somebody inside here that has a condition that the doctor told you it's incurable. And I'm just wondering if you have faith enough to believe that God still works miracles. And I'm just wondering if I have somebody inside here that's a pastor. I choose to obey God. I don't know how this thing is going to happen. I know